Hey, what's going on, team? It's Ricky with TechWood Solutions. Hope that you guys are all having an amazing day. I'm Ricky, right? This is Weston and this is Nick. If you guys have not followed them already, feel free to check them out on Instagram. We post them all the time. But if this is the first time that you are ever joining us, this is our Sunday Stock Talk. This is when we come together as a team, and we do this on an every Sunday basis at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I simply break down the top stocks that you all see value in. So this is just a time where we can come together as a team and talk about what you see value in, why, and then I give and share my opinion about it. I want to make sure that you guys understand that every stock that you share with us today has to be in the ticker call out format, meaning that you've dedicated time to identify some form of plan. So it's not just something that I'm talking about and you take my opinion on. You should never trade based off of anyone else's opinion. And I don't know why this is happening, but here we go. So what's up? Do you guys want to say anything? Or yeah, people they've been asking a lot for Weston recently because Weston hasn't been in the
live streams.
In the live streams.
Gotta bring it back.
Yeah. What have you been up to?
Hobby?
Selling cars.
Oh, I just sold a car. The Frontier. I don't know if you guys know. Some of you guys may know I had a Frontier, but it's gone. If you guys follow me on Instagram, it's actually the second to last picture that I posted with it.
How much did you buy it for?
55.
And you sold it for?
65. But I also got to drive. That was a really reliable vehicle that I got to drive, and it was just my daily driver for a while. So yeah.
How long did you have it for?
About a month.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So
$1,000 profit.
Hey, not bad.
Done.
I like it.
Full four-door?
Yeah, full four-door. I like it. So yeah, if you guys don't follow Weston and have questions about, maybe a car that you're looking to buy but do not want to overpay, we're always here to help you out in any way that we can. So if you're free to send them a direct message on Instagram, you guys can go on my Instagram and simply, I tag them on all the photos pretty much that I post and stuff like that. But
follow me.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Let's start with Alex. So Alex is posting in the ticker call out format. It's AEE. So I'm going to ask for your guys' opinion as well, right? So this is on the 1 day, 1 minute chart. So this is on Friday. We had a really strong push up.
Oh, wow, yeah.
What do you see with this one, right? So if you were to say what's one attractive and maybe what not so, or maybe something that's not so attractive about this.
You want to go? Me?
I mean, it still looks like, I can't see, my eyes are bad. It still looks like it's under the SMA 180. Is that 180?
Yep, the SMA line, the EMA line, it's right there.
Personally, I would probably wait for a little bit more of a reversal, but it does look...
Yeah, it's a consistent uptrending pattern.
It has
seems kind of predictable as well.
Yeah, it has so the two things that I find super attractive about this, and you guys can correct me if you think that I'm wrong, but something that I feel like when it comes down to someone that's just getting started, the whole idea is to put your money into something and for it to grow, right? You're not the best when it comes down to your entries and your exits, and I think following patterns and overall direction like this, where there's a consistent uptrend pattern, this is not consistently selling off, it's showing signs of growth, and like Weston said, it's easy to kind of understand the low points, the high points, the low points, the high points, lows, highs, lows. And I think with that, it's like, it doesn't have to offer, especially if you're just getting started, it doesn't have to offer, huge returns. The whole point when you're just getting started is to get your feet wet, right? Yeah. And to feel comfortable with what you're doing. So I would also agree with Nick and saying that, setting your alert for the break above $77.50 to $78 when it's actually beginning to make higher highs and higher lows. And what does that look like? Just what it's done before. How does it, react or how does it trade when it's above the EMA line? This is what we want to see, higher highs and higher lows. When that direction and pattern is in your favor and there's still a margin of profit that's worth it, it makes it, I think, that much.
What is that percentage of profit?
It looks really
let's see, about 4 to 5%.
Okay.
So that's if it were
still got a cushion too, even if you wait a little bit longer.
Definitely. And the thing that I like about this one is that you probably thought it was going to be much more, right?
Yeah, I thought it'd be like 14, 15.
Yeah, but the thing that I like about this, especially for, let's say for you, right, because you're just working on growing your account.
I like this one a lot.
If this one goes south and does not go according to plan,
you're risking much less too.
You have time. Sometimes, with a lot of maybe like the ETFs or ETNs that I trade, they can move like a matter of 2 to 3% in sometimes minutes, right? And therefore that momentum and volatility might not be the best position to put yourself in if you're a complete beginner.
And
this moves at a slower pace.
Yeah.
So it will give you kind of like.
It's almost like safe. Like I feel better. Like
more
because you can
confident.
panic sell on 2-3% movers in 20 minutes. You can panic sell, which is what
Yeah.
I've done,
Yeah.
and that's my weakness. I would say.
Definitely.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I
So
think
this would be a good one as far as like easier to control.
Yeah. Yep. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Here we go. So we got Alex with ticker symbol shop. I don't know why it's hiding it. I could see it, so we're good with that. So ticker symbol shop.
That's
Shopify, right?
Shop-
Shop was
Shopify.
at 40 something a month ago.
Yeah, 409. That's when it peaked. It began to change directions. We've talked about this multiple times where now something that began to trade above the SMA line is now literally trading below it, right? And it's showing signs of a resistance. It, approached the SMA line and then began to get rejected. Now we're approaching earnings. And this is something that we're going to see within the next week to 2 weeks. A lot of these stocks, Tesla, all these companies are going to be going through earnings. And, these, the earnings themselves can be huge negative or positive, factors that drive the price up or down. So I think because of that, right now it's an overall descending pattern based off of how it's been trading. It's recently just got rejected. I do see why they're calling it out because of the MACD and the RSI. So it makes sense that people are probably viewing it right on this that, hey, it's a little bit more on the oversold side. If there's any time to wait for confirmation, it would be now. So I'm going to set my alert there. But just as much as it could go up, it could go down.
100%.
So I'm going to go ahead and set the alerts.
It
on
also
both
went
sides.
down like for a good solid 10, 15 days recently.
Yeah.
So it could go down even more. I mean,
So one of the things that I do find attractive about what's
That makes
happening right
sense.
now is that it is almost offering this upward staircase pattern.
Starting to create it.
Yeah,
again.
but then it did pull back, and we don't know if it's
Yeah.
going to bounce here. But if it does, then hey, that's something that we can follow up with. So it looks like a couple.
How much was a percent on that from 409 to, in a matter of like 2 months, it dropped like
30%?
30%.
Crazy,
Yeah.
huh?
wow.
Yeah.
What if there's reasoning?
All right. Let's go ahead and break down one more. So again, I want to make sure that we have it in the ticker call out format. So Hiroki, when are you going to be giving discounts for Learn Plan Profit? Ricardo, if you want to send me a direct message on Discord or on Instagram, send me a direct message. If you're looking for some form of discount and you can tell me a reason why, you know that we're always here to try to give good deals, right? So just send me a direct message. Please don't message me on Facebook or anything like that. Instagram and Discord, and we'll keep it at that. So I appreciate you tuning in. So we got Carlos. What's going on, man? So LAB, what is that? LAB.
Looked like LABD.
Was it LABD or?
Yeah.
Yeah, LABD. I want to make sure that it wasn't LABU. Okay, so we talked about this one last week. What do you think about this one?
Me or Nick? What do you think?
Either one of you.
I mean, it's not really uptrending, I would say, like overall. So
Yeah.
it's kind of side. It's like, but it's definitely oversold.
Yeah, I would
but
say that
I
it-
don't think it's a good. I don't think it's a good
Just
time
needs a
right
little
now,
bit more
right?
time to figure out this.
This
see what
is
it's
an
gonna do.
ETF as well, right? So there's
Yeah.
there's usually less consistency with it, and that's sometimes something that can, like, maybe for you just don't work well, right? With you haven't worked well with ETFs. I mean, that's totally okay. But I really don't like this yet. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna set an alert for a potential reversal here. And just as much as it could go up, it could go down. So one of the things and one of the reasons I find this to be very attractive is because it pushed up, it became super overbought, it pulled back, and now it's beginning to consolidate and forming a potential support. And if it does form a potential support, then we can see an overall reversal. And this, when it comes down to the margin, this is what offers usually the 15 to 20%. But again, it comes at a greater risk. So you definitely want to focus more on confirmation on this.
It looks like that support might be the old resistance over there. You see those
Yeah,
three
right here.
to the left, a little bit to the left. Those. It looks like
Right
a
there?
good bounce. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of consolidation here.
Yeah.
Right. So we got Darwin in the house. What's up? What's up? Appreciate you, man, tuning in. Here you go. PG. All right. So Procter Gamble, huge overall push, right? Had a very aggressive sell-off. It's been downtrending ever since. I see why it is that you're calling it out, right? It's been doing a lot of consolidation. One of the things that we've seen is that MACDs and RSIs are important. They're indicators that we can use as a reference. but they're never something that you want to like be solely dependent on, right? You never want to rely on an indicator, and because of that, I would say that right now the overall direction is most likely what's going to continue to take over. So if we actually begin to see higher highs form, then cool. Set your alerts, follow up with it, and then once that direction is in your favor, you have much more going for you. But as of right now, hoping that it doesn't continue to sell off, I just feel like it's going to put you in a very uncomfortable situation where you're always going to just be, so tense to maybe cut losses, or it's just a waiting game, right? Right now, you want to be efficient and effective with your trades. And I think in my experience, that is best and most effectively done when you have confirmation, right? When you see higher highs. So
there's an earnings report too.
Yeah.
Looks like,
yeah. Oh yeah, it does have earnings. So earnings is on the 22nd. So
Tuesday.
Yep. I like it. So there's one more. So we got Alexander with ticker symbol SAN-M. Let's see. No. Backwards. Whoa. Did that. SAN-M. Here it goes. I can tell that this already has low volume. If I'm not mistaken, you can just tell by the way that the candles look. Yeah. So the volume is just a little bit too low for me. Just something that I'm not too into, right? Especially just if I trade with a little bit more than the average person. It's a little bit harder maybe for me to get in and get out without there being, an influence. But yeah, so what would you guys say about this?
Looks like it adds more risk than potential reward.
Yeah, that looks pretty. That's not my style.
It's pretty volatile, right? So it's all over the place. It's I would still say that it's easy to understand the overall high points, low points, high points, low points, and high points. But as of right now, when it comes down to out of everything that we've talked about, even within this Sunday stock talk, which has been very few minutes, this is still not one of the top stocks that I would want to pay attention to, right? Out of everything you're given, especially if you're under the PDT rule, I think one of the ways that, when it comes down to thinking about like the number of day trades that you have to be able to take advantage of within a 5-day period, is this really one that you want to use or use one of those day trades for because you see the margin of profit to be worth it? I don't see the margin of profit to be worth it. I don't see the pattern to be worth it. And I just see some form of inconsistencies with also the volume that would kind of like push me against if I, actually want to take a position on this. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Let's see. So we got NTRA. Here we go.
It's pushing up, but it might be overbought.
Okay. So why would that be?
I mean, the high was a couple days ago, previous high. And I think it has, it could push up, but I don't know. What do you think? Am I saying?
What do you think?
I mean, it looks like it's consistently been making higher highs, but I don't know. It's probably something that I would wait on a little bit more, just because, like I said, like the risk reward, it looks like there can be a lot more of a downfall than. If it doesn't get higher highs, I'm just looking at the last higher high like Wes looked at.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like there's a whole lot of room if it does bounce on that.
I think one of the things that I just want to point out that I'm sure everyone can agree on is that it has a very consistent pattern and direction, right?
It looks good.
So when it comes down to this breakdown and asking the question, is this a good buy right now? I don't think so. Why? Because I see it to be more overbought than oversold.
Yeah.
Although it is consistently uptrending, that doesn't justify getting in when it's not a good deal, right? So doing your part as a trader, as an investor in any market that you partake in, it's understanding the pattern, the direction, and then doing your part to ensure that you get it for a good deal so it's actually worth trading. So I think because of what we're seeing here, that right now it's not the best time in my opinion to trade it, but it would make sense that if it does begin to pull back, approach closer to the SMA line, and we begin to see it that it looks a little bit more on the oversold side, that hey, I like the pattern, I like the consistency aspect, and now it's actually a good deal where it might be actually worth taking the trade.
I was gonna say.
So I think timing is the thing that I would pay most attention to, and it's asking you like, no, not only do you like the pattern and the direction, but is it a good time to buy it right now in the price that we're given at? So yeah, that's one of the things.
Looks like a good trade, just maybe entry timing, like you said, timing is everything for this one.
Definitely. All right, let's go ahead and break down a couple more. So, all right. So we have a lot of people that are sharing their stocks but not posting it in the ticker call out format. So again, if you guys aren't posting it in the ticker call out format, then I don't know if you've done your own due diligence. So, and here we go. We got TechWits Garage sharing it in the ticker call out format. All right. Well, in the meanwhile, while you guys posted in the ticker call out format, okay, so here we go. Ticker symbol FB, and then we got /GC. Okay, so FB. Facebook. One of the first things that I want to say right now, just because of how the market's been trading, and you guys can agree or disagree with me and let me know your guys' opinion. Market's been all over the place, right? So huge players like Facebook follow a very similar pattern as well. Overall, like very inconsistent, and it's been making it very difficult to even day trade, right? Let alone swing trade. With that being said, looking at previous highs and where we're at right now, it looks like it's in the very beginning stages of potentially selling off, and we have an up and coming earnings report on the 30th of October. So definitely something to keep in mind. Again, one of the best trades that you can take is not taking one at all if it doesn't make sense. It doesn't matter like how much money someone made on the trade. Last week, I feel like the past 2 weeks, if you've been proactive within the group, so many people have been so hyped up about these pump and dumps and all these like lower cap penny stocks. And I'm never here to tell you like what to trade and what not to trade. All I'm here to remind you is that, you want to make sure that whatever actions you're taking on a daily basis, like makes sense. It's not just about hoping that you get lucky every single day. That's just not the way that I've ever wanted to approach the market and build a career or make it a profession, right? You want to understand what it is that you are doing. And if you're slowly draining your account because you're following all these aggressive momentum stocks, hoping to get lucky, then this might be, just a little heads up for you where you want to feel comfortable with what you're doing. You want to understand the trades that you're taking, and regardless if it goes according to plan or not, you're at least in control. And I think that's something or a lot more than what other people can say when they're trading these lower cap stocks. And if they're not actually growing their accounts, then it's even a worse experience, right? So I would say like right now, Facebook definitely a little bit more on the overbought side. I would definitely wait for it to be viewed as a better deal. But altogether, the pattern itself is inconsistent enough that I would not want to trade it. So we got /GC that one of our viewers called out. So /GC. I would say that because of how the market's been performing, we've seen gold pull back as the market's been recovering slightly. And do you know how, with all this talk about the trade war and stuff like that, that's been having a lot of influence on /GC. So if you're following /GC, you're probably paying attention to the ETFs and inverse ETFs. Right now, and all last week, and correct me if I'm wrong, I just saw a lot of consolidation within the day. I didn't see huge movements with /GC. I was paying attention to crude oil and natural gas. Those were all over the place, but there was a lot of movement. I just didn't see that with gold this week. And I just feel like if you look at it at the 180-day chart, we're kind of just consolidating here. So that's definitely one of the things that you want to take into consideration. Where do you have a clear direction, right? And is there a consistent pattern in which you can trade off of? And I just don't feel like I'm getting that with /GC. That's just my opinion. But so Ricky, I'm new to the stocks. It's TD Ameritrade paper trading stock live or 20 minutes behind. So when you are on the simulation trading platform for TD Ameritrade, it will say 20 minutes delayed. It says like paper trading or simulation trading or something like that. You can call TD Ameritrade or speak to them under support and chat and ask them to subscribe you to real-time quotes. It's free. It's something that you guys should all have access to. And I've made a video about it of how to do that with Ismail's paper trading account and stuff like that. But definitely something that you guys can look a little bit more into for those that have a simulation trading account. Here we go. So we got Evan with ticker symbol SPY. All right. Very simple breakdown. It's way overbought. Overall, just low points, high points. Yes, it is uptrending right now, and yes, it can continue to uptrend. But based off of how the market has been recovering and where it's at right now, I can definitely see this begin to pull back, and then that would be in response or in favor, if I'm not mistaken, of TVIX. But as of right now, I still wouldn't touch it. The SPY is overbought enough that I just wouldn't want to trade it. But TVIX is still downtrending. So until we get that confirmation, then maybe I'll feel a little bit more comfortable. Do you guys agree?
I agree with that, yeah.
Okay, so GIL. Here we go.
Gilbin.
I just don't trade these enough. One of the things that I can just tell you from my experience is when something sells off, it doesn't normally bounce back right away. With a lot of the stocks that I've traded, it takes a couple days for it to find a support and it can continue to sell off. I think a much more stable example of this is like Shop, right? Where it like will sell off aggressively and then take some time and then it finds a support and then actually reverses up. So don't think that buying the dip on these very quick drops are going to be in your favor. It's best to set yourself up for success and to wait for that confirmation so that direction is in your favor. Yeah, pretty crazy, right?
Yeah.
Not even earnings or anything.
I'd hate to be in that.
Yeah, waking up to that, that's pretty
It's such a bad day.
Yeah.
I can only imagine the percent loss on that one.
Right, EDV. So, there is some form of consistent pattern. It does a pretty good job holding above the overall SMA line. We're seeing a lot of consolidation here where it could 100% continue to drop. To keep this super simple, I do see this to be a little bit more on the oversold side. I like the MACD, I like the RSI. Those are just indicators that I want to use as a reference. Never something that I want to solely trade off of. But I would set my alert here for the break above the EMA line. And if we actually begin to see higher highs based off of previous highs, then you might want to calculate to see if the margin of profit is worth it, if the trade is worth it, and if you find the pattern to be consistent enough in which that you actually want to take a position on. But yeah, just as much as it could go up, it can go down. So I would set my alert here and see if it actually ends up making lower lows or lower or actually higher highs. So all right, so we just broke down EDV, right? So I appreciate you, Joseph. Here we go. So let's go ahead and do two more. I want to break down two more stocks and then we can go from there. So we can talk about DWT or crude oil and natural gas in just a little bit, but those are the ones that I always talk about. I kind of wanted to break down other people's focus, right? Feel like, yeah, OGI. Here we go. What do you guys think?
It's been...
For all those that are tuning in right now, what would you guys think about this? So if you guys would have saved, $100,000, right? And thinking about, hey, I want to put my $100,000 in something that's going to grow. Thinking about it that way, right? As a trader, as an investor, would you put it into OGI? I'm not saying that there's a right or wrong, but why not? Why wouldn't you if you had...
It's consistently downtrending.
Okay, so it makes sense that if it's consistently been selling off, then it probably will continue to offer a decent... There's no other indication of...
It's also downtrending and it did a quick push up.
Yep, so now it's overbought.
Now it's overbought on a downtrend.
Exactly. Yeah. So if there's overall it is above the EMA line, but it does this a couple times where it'll try to push up, become overbought, and then continues to pull back. Overbought, continues to pull back. Overbought, continues to pull back, right? So because of that, I would say that, in my opinion, I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but in my opinion, it's overbought. It's an overall descending pattern, just like Weston said. Yeah. And if you want to set yourself up for success and you've just been draining your account, then maybe not focusing on such consistent, aggressive descending patterns might be a start, right? But yeah, just wanted to... So we got AMD. What's up? Here we go. Very quick breakdown. Overall earnings, that's going to be on the 29th. I see this to be a little bit more on the overbought side than it is oversold. And because of that, I'd see that there's more potential for a pullback than there is for this thing to continue to push up, right? So it's kind of weighing out your odds based off of recent patterns. AMD has been consistently selling off. It recently pushed up, but because of its recent direction, I can see this thing continuing to pull back. So it's, I don't find the pattern to be super attractive, and I don't find the price point based off of recent price patterns to be worth it either. I find it to be more overbought and not a good deal. All right. ACRS. All right. These just, first of all, it's a penny stock. Second of all, it's a therapeutics company. I just have not had the best experience with that. I don't know about you, but I've had very poor. My experience and my opinion should be irrelevant to you, right? All I'm saying is it's a very consistent descending pattern. Yes, it has been consolidating. Yes, it is above the EMA line. I just, just as quick as it pushed up and it started to receive this, weird amount of volume, I could see this thing just sell off, right? Especially with it having such a poor track record. So because of that, overall, I just would not feel comfortable trading it. If you do and you see value in it, just set up a plan. But because of that in the overall direction, it just wouldn't make too much sense to me. WTRH. Stanley, I saw you posting this one a lot, so I'll definitely break it down for you. TRH, and then we'll break that one down. So, what do you guys think?
It's
similar, just
same thing.
Yeah, downward.
Overall descending pattern, consistently selling off, and there is no indication of a reversal. Can something happen and this thing shoot up 50%, right? Sure, anything can happen. But at the end of the day, there's just no pattern or direction that I can trade off of. I'm not looking into the fundamentals of this, so I wouldn't know what's upcoming or expected to come out for this. So because of that, I could only solely trade off of the technicals. And because of that, I would not feel comfortable, so I would stay away. So now before we close out the overall, Sunday stock talk, I said that I would talk about it, right? So /MG. I don't know if you guys paid attention to this, but I was talking to Weston about it. This is where natural gas closed at on Friday, and this is where it's at right now.
Wow.
So huge drop on natural gas. That's in favor of degas. So that means that, for those that, held degas over the weekend, it looks like if natural gas holds around this area, you're going to open up in the green. Will this continue? I don't know. One of the things that I did want to point out is on the 180-day chart, you can kind of see the low points and the high points of natural gas, and seeing how quickly it pushed up on Friday, it makes sense that it has, with it trading below the SMA line, that it has potential to pull back to that 220 potential support. It's done it before, so it would make sense. And because of that, the pullback doesn't catch me at much of a surprise. And there's been pretty poor news when it comes down to natural gas. They said that they're going to slow down the overall they're going to slow down. Dang it! I'm having a brain fart. The what? Production? Yeah, slow down production of natural gas because there was a surplus in supply. And as we're approaching, I think that the whole intention behind that is really just to push the demand of natural gas to be up, because natural gas is naturally going to be in higher demand during this time of year due to more people using natural gas for heating purposes, right? And once we begin to see these crazy winter storms, if we do see them this winter, we'll most likely see, I don't know if you guys have been trading natural gas for long enough period of time, but I remember trading with the Learn Plan Profit group last year, and there was just forecast after forecast after forecast, and all that forecast does, it's a very short catalyst that will drive the price up for natural gas when it just aggressively acts as a positive or negative catalyst. So /CL, talking a little bit more about this one. Do you focus a lot on crude oil at all? No, right?
No, not really, not.
Okay. So one of the things that we can kind of, let's see. All right. Let's look at the 20-day 1 hour chart. Okay. So I feel like crude oil comes at a kind of greater risk than natural gas does. Crude oil has kind of been all over the place, and it also gets influenced by the overall market. So normally when we see, Trump tweets something, there'll usually be a reaction, not just on the overall market, but on crude oil as well. And because of that, it can become a little bit more volatile. So if that's not something that you're looking for, then I would possibly stay away. One of the things that I want to point out is that it was overall descending. It began to recently push above this SMA line, and although it did pull back, it looks like it's trying to find a support, and the MACD is beginning to kind of like flatline, which means that we're most likely bound to find a support here, or then we'll begin to see a push up. So that if we do begin to see signs of an uptrend, then that would be in favor of UWT and not DWT. So something to potentially keep an eye out for. But yeah, I mean, we wanted to keep it pretty simple today. It looks like we're right around that 30-minute mark. I really do appreciate both Nick and Weston for joining us. And I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I really hope that we earned your thumbs up. I know it's sometimes kind of boring when it's just me, as I know I'm like, pretty monotone. But altogether, I really do appreciate you guys' time. We would love to stay connected. I believe it's the first or second link down below. It's our free Facebook group, or the largest Facebook group for those who day trade in the stock market. And we would love to connect any way that you would see value in. On top of that, if you guys haven't subscribed to our channel, we're the largest YouTube channel for those who day trade in the stock market, with over 2,000 videos that we would encourage you to check out and become a little bit more familiar with how we do things here within TechBot Solutions. We'll see you guys at Market Open if you're part of Learn Plan Profit. And if you guys have any questions about joining Learn Plan Profit, my number's down below. You guys can send me a text, or feel free to send me a direct message on Discord about any questions you might have about joining our team, and to see how we can be a part and assist you in your success. Really do appreciate you guys' time. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.